We are live.
Yo, hey guys, what's up?
Hello, people of the internet. I'm here with my good friend, Owen Tucker.
Hey guys.
So we're actually not good friends because I met him.
We are good friends.
I met him once 2 years ago at Vid Summit, and now
Doesn't matter, bro.
we're meeting again. But I want to say he is the official youngest guest I've had on the show.
Yeah.
You are 17 years old.
I am. I'm 17 years old, guys.
And I generally prefer to avoid people under 18 just because it's like with the current like cancel culture and stuff, I don't want to be near high schoolers. And he's not in high school. He graduated high school.
I'm not in high school. I graduated high school early. It's kind of crazy.
I also just want to say, like, there is a reason I'm interviewing him. I met him at a creator event 2 years ago when he was probably 15, and this guy's been on the YouTube path, been on the entrepreneur path, drives up to LA every other weekend. He's so ambitious and so ahead of his time. It's almost, in a way, like talking to myself. I wasn't at your level when I was your age, but I was like, I had that ambitious nature, and so it's really an honor. I'm hoping that when you are successful, which you are going to be, I'm hoping that this interview will be like a cool part to look back.
Yeah, look back on it. Yeah, that's so sick, man.
Go ahead and let them know anything about yourself if you want to.
Introduce myself. All right. As you said, I'm Owen Tucker.
Yeah.
Let's see. I've been making YouTube videos since I was probably 9 years old.
Wow.
But it was always like I had this like feeling that I wanted to do YouTube full time, but it just didn't seem like it wasn't like at that time it wasn't a job. Like that's not like a real job really. Like people would, even now people will like question if it's a real job sometimes, but and it was always something in the back of my mind, even in like elementary school. And then we get into like middle school, and I made videos with my friends, but it was just, I wasn't taking it super seriously. I was just making videos because I loved doing it.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where it was like everyone at the school knew about my YouTube channel. And I got so excited. I was like, guys, I really want to be a YouTuber. I'd start talking about it. And everyone's like bullying me, telling me like, that's not possible. This and that, this and this. You can't do that. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, I think I can do it probably. But I kept posting videos for a little bit. And then like the end of like 8th grade, beginning of freshman year is kind of when I tried really going as hard as I could on YouTube that summer of like 8th grade. During COVID, 2020, I was going as hard as I could, and I didn't see results. I feel like
that's crazy that you were in 8th grade in 2020.
Yeah, I was young.
When did I meet you?
2022. So I was a sophomore in high school.
Wow. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. Ask me questions. Cut me off. There's a conversation.
Dude, I mean, you're so ahead of your time. I mean, people used to tell me that, and it was kind of an annoying comment because I don't. You can always go out there and find someone younger and find someone who's succeeded. I like to start off every episode with my why behind the podcast, which is I talk about the concept of soul wealth. So most people measure success by wealth metrics, which are money, possessions, achievements, and status. And the goal of my podcast is to change the way people measure success to relationships and memories. It's really interesting to sit down and talk to you about this because I was so ambitious at your age, very, very similar to you.
Yeah.
Going to LA, driving, meeting YouTubers. But I will say that my North Star of success was views and likes. And I believe that because I was bullied in high school, no one ever took my lunch money, but just kind of like people saw me differently. And even when I leaned into culture, I went to college, I joined a fraternity. Yeah. It was like I was leaning into the world, but I was still clearly like everyone knew I had a YouTube channel.
Really?
I had enough confidence where I think people would have been scared to like go diss me to my face. Yeah. Because of the way I saw it, but I could just tell like I was the YouTube kid and so because of that and because I dropped out of college, I had a huge motivation of proving the people wrong in high school, proving the people wrong in college, and proving my parents wrong. And so my North Star became, how can I succeed so that like all these people who dissed me or didn't believe in me will like look up to me. And that motivation, you could make an argument that all motivation is good motivation, but it ultimately is a bad motivation because what you're saying is that I'm not enough for myself and that I need other people's approval. And it's just not, it's pride and ego. And then I guess like I chase those things so hard and like I put my happiness and my worth in them so that like when I did do those things and I didn't succeed, I think I always was like you in the sense that I was just like, I'll keep going. Yeah. But you do begin to like, or I began to down my worth as a person because I didn't have followers and I'd done it for so many years. So you're like in a similar journey to me. So I'm just curious, like, what are your thoughts on that as a whole?
Oh man, it's so relatable. It's hitting to home. Like, so it's so funny because that's exactly what's like happened to me. It still does kind of, I guess. But what happened was like, let me finish up, I guess, so then in that summer of 2020, I went as hard as I could on YouTube, and I think the most views I got was like maybe 50 views, and it was like I was posting like so much since I'm 9 years old. Yeah. And like I was so used to like 2 to 10 views, and I got 50 views, and it just hit me like, dude, I don't think this is like a possible thing. Like I don't know if I'm actually gonna do it, no matter how hard I try. And so I gave up. I was like, screw it, I'm gonna go do what everyone else is doing. So I did what everyone else did.
Bro, you're making me sad, but I know you're gonna come back.
No, yeah, I'd come back, but I was like, screw it, I'll go do what everyone else is doing. So I went and did what everyone else was doing. I forgot about YouTube kind of, but I always had it in the back of my head, man. And I remember, I'm done with YouTube, super insecure, by the way, so insecure. And I'm just watching YouTube one day and I come across this guy named Airrack, right? And this guy, I'm watching this video, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like, and I felt that feeling of like, that I felt like when I was 9, when I wanted to do YouTube full time. I was like, dude, I would love to do that. Oh my gosh, wait, I want to do that still. No matter what, one day I want to do that. And so, I don't want to go on a tangent. I don't know. I feel like I'm not answering your question. I'm just talking about.
Well, no, I mean, I cut you off, so that was part of my problem in being a good podcast. So you told your story. I guess what I'm asking you is being young and so ambitious as I once was, how do you feel about, I mean, we'll get into like Christ and faith later. Yeah. Because I really think that is the solution to the reason that I was able to take views and success. The way I define success, it's not that I'm still chasing the same thing you're chasing. I mean, this is my 73rd episode in less than a year, so I'm like consistent.
You are, bro.
But it's not, my self-worth isn't defined by my views. I believe in all forms of, I believe in the deepest core of my heart that I will be like what other people define as success, that I will like be able to make a living off this. But I don't feel unsuccessful because I don't have views. Because you know why? People talk about imposter syndrome. Yeah. Imposter syndrome comes because you don't believe you are who you want to be. And so it's like commonly people will do something for so many years. Commonly people like us will have imposter syndrome because they need views to feel like a YouTuber. They go, I'm not a YouTuber because I don't have views. It can happen the other way around. So I bet we've had friends who've made 1 or 2 YouTube shorts and they get 10 million views on their YouTube shorts, but they also don't feel worthy because they have all these views, but they know they haven't put in the work. So they're like, people. So I will never tell someone I'm not a YouTuber, I'm not a podcaster, because I've done this for 5 years. I mean, you've done it for more than 5 years. And it's like, who are you to say, when you say that I'm not a YouTuber and not a podcaster yet, or you imply that, what you're really saying is that I idolize views and I idolize likes because that it was what would define my worth. And I think, I mean, I have to give all the credit to faith in Christ because, and I'm going to go on a tangent here, but it's like people get their identity from 2 primary things in America, which is 1, your career. When you meet someone, you go, what is your name? The second question, what do you do? Because we're going to judge someone's self-worth on their career. Or your romantic relationships, people want to find love. And,
bro.
And when you become a son of God and you have faith in Jesus, you should put your identity just as a son of God. And then everything else is a bonus. And it actually, I believe in myself more than I've ever believed in myself. Sometimes I tell people, I tell people I wouldn't be surprised if I did a podcast with Kim Jong-un. I wouldn't be surprised if I did a podcast in space. And they go, like, how, why? Like, how do you think you could do that? And I go, because, bro, if God made heaven and earth and humans with billions of cells, and he wanted to use me to do a podcast in space, that would be like the least impressive thing he did. Yeah. So it's like, I actually have so much more belief in myself now that I don't make myself the master of my reality. Like, I believe in hard work. I believe in showing up and doing the work and studying and everything you do. Yeah. But I'm just not the master of my future. Like, God is the master of my future. And I don't know. So I laid a lot down on you right there. And I guess to put it
that's good.
In a question, I would ask you, like, how do you feel about, like, well, where do you get your identity and how do you feel about chasing YouTube as a career?
I actually just had something crazy happen on this topic. So fast forward to just the beginning of this year. Beginning of this year.
Yeah.
No. End of last year. Fast forward to end of last year. I was so in YouTube, like, absolutely obsessed with success. Like, Andrew Tate was like, I was obsessed with Andrew Tate. I still love him. He's still okay. But I don't want you to.
No, you can say whatever. I've talked about Andrew Tate.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he's a net positive to society, but he has good and bad takes. You go.
I agree. But I was so obsessed with not myself, but like, I was at a point in my faith where I believed, like, I guess, like, if God made me to make a difference in this world and gave me the skills and passions necessary for me to truly believe that my calling is content creation, social media, and influencing people, which I believe it is. I believed so much so that, like, what my essential mandatory priority needs to be is to, like, not become the best at it, but that is, like, all I can do. I need to make that happen, like, because he we've all heard this before, but, like, he'll steer your boat, but he's not going to row it for you, so you have to row the boat.
Yeah.
Or he's going to, like, in the Bible it says, do not, like, being lazy is a sin. Like, you don't want to be lazy. So I took that just to the most extreme, and I surrounded myself with people that did so as well.
Yeah.
And it wasn't very relaxed. It was just really all in. And that became my new identity. Was like, I would just play it off as, oh, this is what the Lord wants me to do. I'm okay.
Yeah.
But it was like this thing that came into my mind, like, I need to retire my parents as soon as humanly possible. Yeah. I need to. I want this. It wasn't, I want that sports car anymore. It was like, I need that sports car. Yeah, I can show all the kids at school, look, I got a sports car and you did it and it's way cooler than you.
Yeah.
Or, like, all these different things. It was not a want anymore. It was like a true, like, not a desire, it was a need.
Yeah.
Which is not, now I'm moving away from the identity that God wanted to be in, but I was totally super far away from where he wanted me to be. And so I had friends that would tell me, like, you need to be so obsessed, like, whenever you think you've worked the hardest and you're about to throw up and you're bleeding all over, bleeding out of your eyes, you haven't worked even close to hard enough. Your parents should never know where you are. Like, they'll ask, oh, where is he? He's like, you need to be bleeding, losing limbs, dying, getting dirty, get really, really into it. And so that's what I did. And then on Christmas, I think it was like Christmas night with my family. I was like, I got to this point where it was like, I didn't want to open up to everybody anymore. Like, it was like I don't tell anybody about anything. It was like, I need to work hard and then show them the results. I was really into it. And I think part of that is good, but that became my identity, which is really, really bad.
Yeah.
And so, Christmas night, I forgot what happened, but dude, I just freaking, like, I was so tired. And it was this exhaustion, like, tiredness that I had that I couldn't fill by sleeping. I always felt tired. I would try and sleep, nothing happened.
Yeah.
I would try and fill myself with the word and nothing happened. I was like, why am I always so, like, exhausted? Like, I wanted to, like, I guess I just wanted to, not in a suicidal way, die, but, like, the only way I just wanted to, like, lay down and never get up and not do anything anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I lost everything. I didn't want to do anything anymore, even though I had ambitions, I had desires, I had networking connections that like people would around the world would kill to have.
Yeah.
I had like the craziest, most motivational friends, good relationship with the Lord. I thought so, and all this.
Yeah.
It's just, I just felt exhausted. Like, I wanted to just, I was so sick of it. Like, if you gave me, so what happened was on Christmas they gave me something, and I was like I would act all happy and stuff, and I was just so exhausted that when they'd give me stuff, I was just like, I'd act happy and everything, but I just didn't care anymore about anything. Christmas, like, it's Christmas Day. How could you not be happy? I didn't care. And that almost like pissed me off. Like, the fact that I couldn't be happy on Christmas Day, I got really mad. And then I lashed out, and I was done. I didn't know what to do anymore. And so I had to talk with my dad. And we talked about it, and he said, like, that need thing was wrong. And so one of the problems that I did, this is crazy, this is big. Something that I truly believed was prayer is such a weapon. Like, it's such a crazy thing that you can use. Like, if you pray for, like, people will say, be careful what you pray for. Because if you pray for strength, God will put you in positions where you need to, like, hard positions, that when you get through it, then you'll be stronger at the end.
Yeah.
And so I selfishly prayed for addiction. I prayed for an absolute addiction, an unhealthy, like, scary obsession that nobody else had towards my passions, so I could actually do it and become the best at it and never be lazy. So I would consistently, every day, I made it a habit. And I made these habits, like, I was so consistent in my head. Like, all I did was pray for, like, serious addiction. And I have a buddy who, like, helps me out behind the scenes of the channel and stuff now. He's a great guy. And I thought it was only natural if he's in it with me. I can't be, like, more obsessed with him, so he needs to pray for it too. So we would, like, go together, where two or more together, we'd pray for addiction towards the passion. And
bro, this is a wild story.
It's crazy. And then we got so obsessed and all that, and then we decided it's, like, what I need to do is I was addicted. I actually built an addiction. So the problem, whenever I felt exhausted, was like, if I don't post a video this week, I was not consistent with my posting. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't do it. So I always felt exhausted, like I never could fulfill that thing. Like, if you keep smoking cigarettes, you never feel, or vaping, you'll never feel satisfied. You're like, oh, I'll stop the next one, you know? And so that's how I was truly addicted to YouTube and becoming successful. And so some people I think would agree. Like, some people I think would say that's good. Like, if I told this to David Goggins or Andrew Tate, he'd probably say, you're not working hard enough. We're like, you keep going. But
I have a lot of thoughts. I'm gonna let you finish.
I want to hear them, bro. Yeah, let me finish real quick. So my dad was like, yo, you're addicted. Let's take 7 days. Simply 7 days. Screw YouTube. Forget about all that stuff. You don't need to provide for me and the rest of us. That's just a stupid thing. And it's just so drilled in my mind. I seriously I asked him, seriously, I actually started crying. I was like, really? Like, I truly believed I needed to retire them, buy them all sports cars, get extra houses. Like, I felt like I needed to. So he was like, yo, let's take a 7-day break. And so I took 7 days off, and I just realized I don't need to do anything. It's just wants. And that stuff shouldn't even touch my identity. Like, that stuff should never enter my inner circle of, like, what I believe. That should just be, like, extra bonus stuff. But at the end of the day, I should be able to just throw it away for a few days if I need to. Like, I don't need to post a video today. I don't need to go crazy on YouTube and stuff. And so that's my opinion on, like, that's just a crazy story on what happened lately on, like, identity, I guess. Is that's what you were saying, right?
Yeah, no, that story couldn't have been more in line with my brand. I mean, I'm gonna, like, give you almost a rebuke, I guess, but...
Oh, dude, I'm ready.
Dude, it's just, you're so similar to me. I don't think I ever prayed for... The praying for an addiction is like
that's crazy. I was obsessed, man.
I mean, but I was obsessed too, and I think I kind of, like, have to tell you part of my testimony because it just won't make sense if I don't.
I want to hear it.
But I had the same, not the same exact content, but I had the same ambitions, and to the point where, so I was in college and I was in a fraternity. I had a marketing job in Little Italy, San Diego, and I had friends. And I was posting 3 vlogs a week on YouTube. And I worked out every day. So I was, like, balancing, like,
Dude,
I was literally reading Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins.
3 vlogs a day?
3 vlogs a week.
Oh, I was like,
No.
wait, that's not
Yeah. And I was just like,
That's
so
really good.
dialed and so drilled. And my relationship with God, I don't think I had a real relationship with God. I was a Christian because my parents were a Christian. And
Yeah.
I prayed every night. And like, if anyone asked me if I believed in Jesus, I would have said I believe in Jesus. But I don't think that I knew him personally. And what had happened was I dropped out because I was losing sleep, so much sleep doing all this. And I thought, if I just spend all the time I'm wasting on class on YouTube, then I'll be successful. And so I started going balls to the wall on YouTube.
Dude, heck yeah. That sounds crazy.
Two things happened though. So
Sounds insane.
one thing happened that is just like, this is like a side note. It's kind of a detour from the point I want to make. But even though I had way more time to do YouTube, I actually made way less YouTube videos because I realized that I'd always convinced myself I was passionate about YouTube, but in reality, I was passionate about people. All my videos were vlogs with friends, and all my friends lived with me in college. So then when I quit college and came home, I had none of my friends, and I tried to do different content, but I didn't care about it. So it was like I had more time than I ever had, but I felt less passionate than I ever was because it was a misdiagnosis of my passion.
That's so interesting.
That's like one thing, but that's not, I want to harp on soul wealth because that's the whole point of this podcast. When I dropped out, I was dating a girl. And she started having heart problems. Her heart started going crazy, and I told her to get her heart checked out.
Yeah.
And she had, actually, funny enough, the story I told you, she had the same thing. She had a pulmonary embolism. What a pulmonary embolism is, a blood clot inside your lungs. And the issues with pulmonary embolism is that you can essentially live completely normal. It's not like cancer where your whole body is sick. You can live completely normal, but you have a blood clot in your lungs. And every once in a while, your heart will start beating really weird, and it will make you go like get lightheaded and stuff. But the issue is that when you have a pulmonary embolism, if your blood clot breaks free into your lungs, you just instantly die. And there's nothing you can do about it. So you basically have a 20% chance of dying at any moment if you have a pulmonary embolism. And she had that.
Crazy, man.
But every time I hung out with my girlfriend, I was watching the clock and counting the hours saying, I need to get back to YouTube. If I want to make my dream a reality, I need to get to YouTube.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, she has this life-threatening thing. And so she wasn't really a Christian.
Yeah.
And I claimed to be a Christian, but I didn't really know Christianity. I never read the Bible. I just went to church on Sunday with my family, but I was like, bro, right now there's a legitimate chance she might die. So I got to help her find the Lord. And so I started reading the Bible to her every night.
Yeah.
But in reality, like, I thought I was helping her, but in reality, I think I was helping myself. And something that came to mind.
Why is that?
Because it's the reason for that is that I never actually dove into the Word. And so 92% of Christians have not read the Bible. And in the Catholic religion, which we all stem from Catholicism, they don't teach the Bible. If you go to a Catholic church, they don't teach it. And it's like people always ask, what's God's will? Is God's will for me to be a YouTuber? They make God's will a career. Is God's will for me to get married to this person? They make God's will a person. They say, is it God's will for me to move here? They make God's will a location. God says his will over and over and over again in the Bible. His will is that you'd be more like him, that you'd be more like his son, Jesus. And you can't become like Jesus if you don't know what he's like. And you get like basic outlines from going to church, and you get basic outlines from knowing other Christians. Like you go, okay, Jesus was forgiving and he was loving. But you can't truly know him if you're not reading the Bible. And so I was reading the Bible to my girlfriend, but it was the first time I'd really dove into it myself.
Yeah.
And so it was hopefully helping her, but it was really helping me. And what I realized is that every time I was with her, I was so eager to get back to YouTube and do all these things. And I said, bro, if she died or if I died, how would she remember me? And I was like, she would not remember me as this ambitious YouTube kid. She'd remember me as someone who always chose work over her. Always chose work over my family, always chose work over my friends, always chose work. And I said, there's a story in the Bible. It says It's literally about this guy who gets a bunch of crops and he keeps building a bigger and bigger and bigger barn, and then he gets to like the mansion barn and he sits down, he's like, I'm finally going to enjoy this. And God says, you fool, you're going to die tonight and not enjoy any of your blessings because you were so focused on this. And there's another man, the rich young ruler, when the guy walks up to Jesus and he says, I followed every command since I was a little kid. And Jesus says, all right, well, go and sell all your possessions and follow me. And the guy turns away crying, and God says, truly, I tell you, it's harder to be a rich man and get into the kingdom of heaven than it is for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle. And then he says, but all things are possible with God. It's not, the issue is not being rich. It's that money was his idol, and fame and money and success were my idol. And I realized if I died and the only thing people remembered about me was that I worked really hard, and specifically if they remembered that I worked hard in place of spending quality time with them, I said, that's the last legacy I ever want to have. And I said, I'm struggling with this. I believe the best entrepreneurs solve their own problems. And so I said, if I'm struggling with this, I know every other YouTube kid out there, every other entrepreneur is struggling with this too. So I said, I'm going to start a podcast where I talk about soul wealth, which is changing the way people measure success from money.
That's so good.
To relationship to memory.
Yeah.
But even that, I didn't know if like I was just taking my pride of like, I have to be successful and just like saying, oh, it's going to be over here now, God. But I remember just praying like, God, like have your, like, I was true surrender of being like, God, if you want me to work in a grocery store, I'll do it. And I didn't even know if it was honest. I just would pray it. And dude, I can't even tell you, my subscribers, nothing's changed.
Yeah.
My life, the craziest stuff you could ever imagine, bro. Since I basically told you what happened, I started this podcast and I didn't know if it was for me or if it was for God. I'm struggling to debate how much I should tell you because it's such a long story, but to make it quick, first of all, like I met Jaden, which is a good YouTube friend of ours.
Yeah.
Creator Camp, that event that I always wanted to go to that event. When I was a YouTuber, I always wanted to go. It was so bad. And I never got invited once. I started the podcast. I get invited to a Creator Camp event in New York City, which made no sense because I had no followers on my podcast. I know, but my friend, I became friends with the founder. He invited me. I go to New York City. But even the way that I got to New York City was crazy because my flight got canceled. I had no place to stay. I had no money, no place to stay in New York City. So I said, all right, I'm going to fly in the day of the event and I'm going to meet people at the event and I'm going to stay on their couch. So that was my plan.
Yeah.
But my flight got delayed one day. And so I was going to miss the event. And no place to stay, no point to go. I had no money. And I call Alaska Airlines. I'm like, they tell us, sorry, we can't change the weather. There's nothing you can do to get there earlier. I'm looking at the flight for tomorrow and I see that there's one flight in an hour. We live 45 minutes away from the airport. I go, can I get on that flight? They say, we have one seat.
So
you can try to make it on, but if you live in Carlsbad, you're not going to make it on. I drive 45 minutes to the airport. The last road to the airport, bumper to bumper traffic. Says 10 minutes. I refresh, 15 minutes, refresh, 20 minutes, refresh, 25.
Oh no.
I asked my dad, should I get out and start running? He's like, no, we're just gonna, if you do that, we're gonna beat you to it. Refresh, 30 minutes. I'm like, Dad, I'm getting out, I'm running. Backpack on, suitcase, I start running to the airport.
Oh my God, this is out of a movie.
I take out my phone, bro. And I realize that I'm 3 miles away with luggage. I'm like, there's no way. No way I'm gonna get to the airport. But I see where the car crashes are breaking free. Yeah. And so I come up with a plan. I run another 5 minutes to right where the car crashes are breaking free. I start waving down the cars. Someone rolls down their window. I go, hey, I was gonna run to the airport, but if you can drive me, I might make it. Someone lets me get in their car. They're like, my husband's gonna kill me. I shouldn't be picking up a stranger. They drive to the terminal, but it's not my terminal. I get out of the car, I start waving down another stranger. Another person rolls down their window. I go, hey, I got dropped off at the wrong terminal. If you can drive me to the next terminal, I might make my flight. They drive me to the next terminal. I run into the airport. It's like 10 p.m. It's an overnight flight. So the line's not that long, but it's one loop. Here, they're checking your ID here. I tell the person in the front of the line, I go, I just got in the car with two strangers. If you let me cut you, I might be able to make my flight. They let me cut them. And then there's one more line for baggage security. 4 people in a row said yes to me and let me cut them. One seat left on the flight. I get onto this plane. I fly to New York City. I have no money. I meet, I actually did have a place to sleep because I had gone to a convention for a book called The Third Door, and I met this guy there. And I'd met, similar to how I met you, I met him for 5 minutes. He remembered meeting me. I didn't even remember meeting him. But the reason that I knew to ask him was because the Third Door event that I went to in LA, they just had an event in New York City. So I like messaged the group chat and they recommended me to this guy, and this guy said he knew me, but I didn't even like remember meeting him. And so he goes, you can stay on my house. And I was like, great, I'll stay at this guy's house for one day and then I'll go to this event, meet people, stay at the couch. I go to this guy's house and he tells me that in the book, The Third Door, the book convention we went to, in The Third Door, the whole premise of the book is that there's 3 ways to achieving anything. The first door is the classic way. It's like you, let's say you want to be an actor in Hollywood. So the first door would be going to film school at USC, getting smaller and smaller roles for 10 years straight, and then you make it.
Yeah.
The second door would be like you're Will Smith's son, you're a celebrity, you kind of just get a freebie. The third door is what Steven Spielberg did. Steven Spielberg didn't get into film school. One day he went to Universal Studios, he dressed up in a suit with his suitcase, he went on a ride that was a tour of the film studio at Universal Studios.
Yeah.
He jumped off the ride mid-ride, walked into the offices, he acted like he worked there. He had really good ideas, so he got a 3-day pass to come back. The 3 days passes, he came back to Universal Studios. He made sure to introduce himself to all the security guards as if he was a new employee there, and he had a badge for 3 days. After the 3rd day, he wasn't legally allowed to go there, but they believed that he worked there, and he walked in there every day for the next 3 months, and then he pitched himself to get a role. He pitched the movie Jaws. Jaws became massive, and then he did Star Wars, and then he became the greatest film director in history. That's the third door. It's finding the way in.
Yes.
So
That's so good.
Anyway,
I love that.
The only connection that I have to this kid is not a creator, is that we read The Third Door. He works in an office in New York City, and he starts telling me he emailed the author from The Third Door. He didn't email the author. He emailed a guy who's a millionaire in The Third Door book that the author interviewed. And he says that he's poured 5-paragraph email, telling him basically, I work a corporate job. I got 3 college degrees, but I don't want to do this. I want to be an entrepreneur like you. And this guy responds in 3 sentences. He says, walk El Camino de Santiago, FaceTime me the day before, let me know if you need help with funds. So he emails this millionaire dude, and the millionaire dude tells him to walk El Camino de Santiago. I'm on his couch about a month after this email, and I'm on his couch the week before he leaves to go to walk El Camino de Santiago. Yeah. You probably don't know what that is because no one in America knows what it is.
Yeah.
El Camino de Santiago is a 500-mile or 300-mile walking trail across the north of Spain. It's the most famous walking trail in the world. People from all around the world, from Asia, from the U.S., from Europe, come to walk this trail. They usually walk it because they want to have an experience with God, or they want to have a revelation about work, or after a loved one dies. It's the same trail that Apostle James walked in the Bible. So there's Catholic churches along the whole trail, but it's not everyone who does it is religious.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is such a long story.
No, this is so good.
I would have had no idea what that was. The only reason I knew what the El Camino de Santiago was because 5 days prior to going to New York City, I was doing a podcast outside, just like we're doing right here.
Yeah.
And a kid walked by with a hiking backpack on. And he walked by right before I started my podcast, and he whipped around and he said my name. And Auzi's not my real name. I have a different birth name, and this kid said my birth name. And so I go, he must know me from like my past. And he had a beard and stuff, and he says my name, and I realize that it's some kid from high school, but because of his beard, he looks so different. And we get in a small...
Wait. What? Wait. Where did you meet this guy? This is on...
Just like this. I'm doing a podcast before I fly to New York City for Creator Camp.
Okay.
So I'm here. kid walks by like this. Right before I start my podcast, he whips around and says my name.
Yeah.
And he was a kid from high school, but I didn't even recognize him. And we have a conversation, whatever, and I ask him why he's wearing a hiker's backpack. And he says, I'm preparing for something called El Camino de Santiago. I go, what is that? He tells me what I told you. It's a 300-mile hiking trail. I'm going there. Yeah. 5 days later, I'm on this kid's couch, and he tells me kid's couch in New York City. He tells me he sent a cold email to this millionaire he looked up to, and that the millionaire told him to walk El Camino de Santiago. And I go, wow, that's crazy. I just heard about that for the first time. Again, I'm not thinking anything about it. 4 strangers in a row to get to New York City. I go to this creator camp event. All I can think about is like how much Jesus has done for me. Like the fact that I'm even have a place to stay, that I get to interview these people. I go to this event. I meet a bunch of people. I meet like people I watched. I don't know if you know like Your Mom's House, like Kelly Wakasa, Elliot Choi.
Yeah.
So like half Elliot Choi and Anne Marie kind of hang out in the creator camp community.
Yeah.
And so I remember Anne Marie was the first person that I had seen and known about and watched her videos on the internet before having them on my podcast. And I see her, she's 27. I start talking to her, we having a really good conversation. I'm telling her about Jesus. She's more spiritual, but I'm just talking about Jesus at this creator event. Yeah. And she agrees to come on my podcast. And that was like a really cool moment for me because first, I'd never had someone that like I watched on YouTube come on my podcast before. Yeah. And she agreed. She was the first person. She also is debatably the first ever college vlogger. She vlogged at USC like 10 years ago, or not like, she vlogged at USC like 7 years ago when no one else was vlogging there. Yeah. A lot of people credit, what's this guy's name? Justin Escalona to being the first YouTube vlogger. And they're both at USC and she vlogged before him. But that's like a whole side story. And I was a college vlogger, so that was like cool. And I was just thinking like, she was 27 and she told me like, I really like your opinions on like God and like, I'm going to come to you with all my religious questions. I was like, that's so crazy. Like I'm in this circle and God's using me to like talk to creators. Anyways, fast forward, I stay on people's couches. Friday, I'm flying home Saturday, coming back to San Diego. Yeah. My friend Chris, who runs Creator Camp, and he's mentored by the guy who told the other guy to walk El Camino de Santiago. And he tells me, bro, he knows that I'm staying on this kid's couch. He goes, you should walk El Camino with him. And I go, I would love to walk El Camino with him, but I don't have the money. And he's like doing that as part of some challenge for this millionaire. He goes, email him right now. I'll put in a good word. And he says, call Mike. Mike was the kid at couch I'm saying. I call Mike. I'm like, bro, Chris thinks that I should walk El Camino de Santiago with me. Mike goes, bro, email Elliot right now. I'll put in a good word. So I email this millionaire dude. By now it's the next day. I'm going on the New York City subway train to the airport.
To go walk?
To come home to San Diego.
Okay, yeah.
And this millionaire dude, I have no money in my bank account. This millionaire dude responds to my email instantaneously. And he goes, how much money do you need? And I go, I don't know, like maybe $1,000, $2,000. I got to look at flights. He goes, life is not a dress rehearsal. Let's do this. Random millionaire author I look up to, never met him before, agrees to send me to walk across Spain. So I have no money. I stay on people's couches in New York City, walk across Spain. Whole time, I could go into all the details of this, but bro, the whole time I'm walking around saying, I'm just like, bro, the only thing I've done in my life this year is say that I surrender it all to Jesus. I'm on this Camino, bro, just talking to people about Jesus and God and just like, what is life? 2 other kids, the kid's couch I'm staying on with, and another kid from Toronto who's read this book. He sent 3 of us to walk across Spain. I was so self-conscious about spending his money, even though he's a millionaire, that I booked a 2-week longer flight. The other 2 kids booked exactly the time to walk the Camino, and they were going to go home. Yeah. 4 days left on the Camino, he calls us, and he says, there's another kid, Gabe, who I'd actually met at this book conference. He says, his mom just died of cancer. I want him to walk the Camino with you. And so he sends a 4th kid to walk with us. By the time this kid gets from Ohio to New York City to Madrid to the middle of nowhere in Spain, we only have 1 day of walking left. So this kid walks with us for 1 day. And the other 2 kids who were actually got sent by the guy to walk, go home. So it's just me and another kid after his mom died. And the author, millionaire dude, calls me and he goes, you guys can do whatever you want. If you want to fly to Morocco and ride camels, I'll pay for it. If you want to rent a car and go to the south of Spain, I'll pay for it. And I'm like, bro. And
you've never met this guy?
Never met him. Just read about him in books. Never met him.
You've read about him in books?
Not even a Christian. Bro.
What?
Makes no sense. And then
this is the craziest story one of the craziest stories I've ever heard.
I didn't even tell you the Jaden part of the story. Bro, Jaden had no money, living out of his car.
Yeah.
When we met, we have a whole crazy story about money. I really, really wanted him to go to creator camp. So before, my friend Chris Duncan, who moved to Austin, he used to live in San Diego. He's one of the founders of creator camp. I introduced him to Jaden because I really wanted them to meet. Yeah. And on the spot, he bought Jaden a flight to New York City. So Jaden was actually with me in New York City when all this went.
What?
And
so he was also staying in the couch?
He was not. He was staying with another different kid we met. And we were in a pizza shop when all this went down. I was like, bro, I might walk the Camino. Bro, I met him in a pizza shop. You might have been there. I met him in a pizza shop in L.A.
Maybe.
And Jaden in a pizza shop in L.A. And less than 3 months later, we were both having no money and we were in a pizza shop in New York City. It was just so crazy. And, he's a Christian too.
Yeah.
I do want to put a caveat on this story, but I'll do that at the end. But anyways, then the entrepreneur guy tells us if you go to, he says, you can fly to Morocco, ride camels, you can do this, you can do this. He goes, but if you go to Lisbon, you can meet my friend. And this guy knows everyone. So we're like, we should probably go to Lisbon. We go to Lisbon. He starts sending us these boat party videos from 20 years ago and 10 years ago and 5 years ago. And it's under this YouTube channel called the Yacht Week. And he says, my friend wants to meet you. He's the founder of Yacht Week. So we end up one-on-one surfing with the founder of Yacht Week, which is just crazy. And then, again, I could take 2 hours. I have a solo podcast that's 2 hours telling this story, but to just make it as quick as possible, all I did was I was filming podcasts and doing stuff for myself, but I just dedicated it to God. And that's not even it hasn't ended, bro. I've gone to creator camp in Oregon. There was a time when I went to a week-long event in Oregon, and every single day I said, Jesus, show me someone, give me an opportunity to talk to someone about you. And every single day with a different creator, I had an hour-long conversation or a long conversation about God. And by the end of the trip, there was a moment.
That's so awesome.
There was a moment when I was around a fireplace with 30 creators.
No.
I didn't bring it up. Someone goes, oh, you want to know about Jesus? Ask Auzi in front of all these creators. And I go, okay, if you want to have a conversation about God, let's go over here and talk about it.
Yeah.
And everyone goes, no, we want to hear. And so now I'm preaching to these 20 creators. And I don't even want to make it this story almost sounds prideful. It's
no.
Bro, I'm telling you, it was none of my own doing. Every great thing. All these moments, I didn't even have subscribers when all this stuff out. I'm living my dream life, and it was just giving it to God. Every great thing that's ever happened to me has come from God. And the caveat that I want to put on this story is that, prosperity gospel, sometimes people preach that if you follow Jesus, that you'll make more money or that you'll get subscribers. That's not true to the Bible at all. Because if that was true to the Bible, then Jesus followed the Bible better than anyone on earth, and he got murdered, beaten, and killed. So did all the apostles.
Yeah.
So there's no guarantee when people try to preach a prosperity gospel, there's no guarantee that things like what I just described will happen to you, but there is a prosperity guarantee in that you'll be more joyful than you'll ever be. You'll have more peace than you'll ever have.
Yes,
you'll have more comfort. You'll have the better relationships. And I always think that God, in Romans 8:28, it says, and we know that God uses all things for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. And that verse says, and we know that God uses all things. And what it's saying is that I always give the example in terms of alcoholics, is someone might be an alcoholic for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then because they find Jesus in the Bible, they break their alcohol addiction. And then they help other alcoholics get over their addiction. God is not up there like, I'm going to make you an alcoholic for 10 years so that you heal other alcoholics.
Yeah,
But
no.
if you give your life to Christ after being an alcoholic, he will use it. He says, and we know that God will use all things for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose.
Yeah.
Me, I idolize YouTubers. I was prideful, addicted to views, addicted to fame. And then I'm like the last person who should be in these circles who gets to talk to these people. And God took me around the world talking to YouTubers I used to watch, talking to people, giving me adventure. And it's like, I feel like
cool,
he used my pride. It's like once I gave it all to him, he was like, okay, here, I'll give it back to you. And so that's why I'm such a big advocate to just surrendering to Jesus. And it's not that you'll have the same story I have, but that he'll use all things. And I'm so going out of my way to explain it to you because I know that you're in that like same idolization that I'm in. And I'm so, bro, the only thing I wish was different about my story was that I found Jesus sooner. So like hearing you at your age with Jesus it's the ultimate win, bro.
That's so cool, bro.
Sorry,
that's such an awesome story.
Such a long story.
No, that is the coolest thing ever. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like,
Wow.
I feel like icky though when I talk about it because I'm like, I just talked about myself for like half an hour.
I know how you feel, dude. I know how you feel. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh my gosh. Yes, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I don't know where we go from here. I'm actually applying to, did you see that Red Bull thing?
Maybe.
So Red Bull's doing a challenge where they're like sending people to try to cross Europe, but only using Red Bull as currency.
What? That's so fun.
And they're gonna pick 20 teams from the U.S. And I don't know. I really like. I don't want to say like it's guaranteed gonna get picked. I have no idea, but I just like have confidence that that will happen too. I don't know why. Like it's like after I've seen all the stuff that God's done in my life, I just don't like. Literally anything is possible. But the best part about it is that I don't care. Like
Yeah, if nothing happens,
it's like God. I mean, and maybe I'm not being honest saying that. I don't really know, but I believe I'm being honest. It's like, dude, some of my happiest friggin' moments are literally talking to God before bed or being at a local church just worshiping with my friends. Like,
dude, I was just talking about this. Literally yesterday, I was like, I got 100,000 views on this one video, and then like all these other things started popping off, and there was all these good things, and then like one of my like great friends, he's super cool, but he like got pretty popular, and then there was a lot of stuff going on, so he never like really we would never really talk that much. We started talking a little bit, and like all these good things were happening, and all this and this, and it's like I went out to go celebrate and hang out with like my parents and like friends and stuff, and like, you know what I found out yesterday, like, because a lot of the times you go like, dude, I need to rest.
yeah.
Right? But part of that is like, I'm gonna go on a little tangent.
Yeah, go on a tangent.
Part of that is like, when I did that 7-day week of realizing I don't need to do anything and everything is just I want to and I get to and stuff like that. Yeah. Once I fully like really understood my identity and didn't care anymore, one of the things that I really started to prioritize was really dedicating a 7th day to the Sabbath.
Yeah.
And that was something I like did before. Like I'd try not to be on my phone that much on Sunday, like just different things.
Yeah.
Like, but the biggest thing that hit me was, like I stopped working on Sunday, so I don't like do any work or anything like that. Sundays I just don't do anything.
Me too.
I would just hang out with people.
Yeah.
And at the end of Sunday, no matter how much work I didn't do or no social media or whatever, and rest I thought I did, I was never just, I didn't feel rested at the end of the Saturday or Sunday or whenever you do Sabbath. I don't think it matters what day it is. I don't think it needs to be Sunday, but for some reason I didn't know what the problem was, and then I found out later, like it really even confirmed it more yesterday. It's like when you hanging out with people and going and doing like enjoyable things that you want to do, is it really resting? Like I think the best way to rest was just like, the most I feel fulfilled is when I sit in my room. I don't go out. This could be anywhere. Like you could go outside somewhere here and just like sit and pray. Like that's
Yeah.
like just sitting in my room and just like reading by myself, drawing, like laying down and like actually just worshiping Jesus.
Yeah.
And like, dude, I don't feel rest unless I do that.
Oh,
Dude, so like yesterday I was like, all these things are happening and I go out and I'm doing all these like exciting things and I'm celebrating all these things are happening. I was just like, dude, I don't feel rested. And I think that's part of that like exhaustion that I had.
yeah.
So I never rested.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, I'm so close to God, I don't need to rest. But it says so many times in the Bible, rest is a gift.
Yeah.
Rest is like, the Lord made rest. Like there are so many
one of
different
the
things.
10 Commandments.
It's a good, yeah, dude, you need to rest.
Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all of you who are weary and heavy burdened, and I will give you rest.
Bro, so good. You need to rest. And so, like, whenever I just sit down and just worship Jesus, bro, all of a sudden, like, I'm like, dude, you know what, bro? I don't need anything, bro. It's so good. So every Sunday, it's just a good reminder, like, yo, I don't need anything. I'm chilling. I don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
Just gonna worship, relax today. So
What's interesting,
yeah,
I saw something that said, like, a lot of people think of rest as like brain off activities, so watching TV or watching Netflix or whatever. But I've heard that, like, statistically, you actually get the most rest when you're doing something that you don't feel as work, but it keeps your mind, like drawing is a good example, or like painting, that keeps your mind occupied. I've heard that that's where we get our most. I read about that in a book called Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal.
yeah,
But I do think Jesus is the ultimate rest. Coming to Jesus and worship or just being with him, there's nothing like it. But I also forgot, I felt like I wanted to make a point about this earlier, about the workaholism, because I told you the whole testimony so you understand why I have this view.
yeah,
But it's very biblical to work hard, but it's also very, like, it's very unbiblical to be so busy that you don't have time for God.
yeah,
There's a John Mark Comer has a really popular Christian book. I haven't read it yet, but I've been recommended it like 1,000 times, it's called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. And I guess the concept of the book is that, like, if you're always in a hurry, how do you expect God to communicate with you? And it's like, I mean, if you think of God as like any other relationship, like you make time to talk to him and hang out with him, it's exactly what we're saying, bro. If you get too busy for your family or friends, then you're going to miss out. You might post 10 videos, but you could have had one conversation with one person that would have helped you post one video that would perform better than all 10. But because you were so busy being busy, you missed out on that advice and you just made 10 mediocre videos instead of one. And it's like,
yeah,
you know who gives the best advice is Christ. God gives you better advice than any human can. It's like, if you're so busy that you'll never take the time to listen to him, then it's just like, you're just eliminating your own benefit. And that's kind of my biggest takeaway. And it took me years. Like, I definitely was nowhere near where you're at on your level. But my biggest takeaway for like going into this year is like, the issue is not that you won't rest or that you won't listen to God. The issue is that you have deemed certain things work and you've deemed certain things not work. So, like, I would be willing to bet that when you sit down in front of your timeline on Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve, you feel like that's work because it's like editing.
yeah,
But there's parts where I got so bad with it that I convinced myself everything that I enjoyed wasn't work and everything that I didn't enjoy was work. So, like, the editing and the grueling stuff, I was like, this is work. But then I'd be like sitting down having the conversation on the podcast, that's not work. I would feel like I didn't do work if I did that, which it's such a bad habit because then it's like stuff like you might enjoy reading a lot, but then you feel like, oh, reading isn't tangible like editing, so you feel like it's not work.
yeah,
And once you begin to like feel that everyone wants to have purpose. So if you don't define things that give you purpose as work,
yeah,
such as spending time with God or praying, reading the Bible or reading some book, then it becomes very low on your priority list. And that's where I've, like, this year just had to redefine what is work. Like, every morning, Bible's the way I start my day. I try to spend 30 minutes a day where I don't have a phone or a book or anything, and I just sit and I'm like, it's not like God's like popping revelations into my mind, but I'm just like, I want to get in the habit of creating time for him to speak to me. And I feel like it's almost like a lie of the enemy that you need to be so busy that you can't, like I really feel like workaholism is the biggest addiction in America that's the least talked about.
Yeah. I didn't even think that was a thing. So now that we're talking about this, I'm really realizing how crazy it is to pray for an addiction to work. That's crazy.
Bro,
why did I do that? I mean, they provided it. It sucked, but
you know, it's funny because I've heard pastors say, like, first of all, you did learn from it and you're reflecting back.
Yeah.
And I've heard pastors say, like, essentially, bro, if my 10-year-old, which like prayers got granted, I would be screwed. If my 20-year-old prayers got, it's like when I was 10 years old, I was praying for a bunch of candy. Like I'm glad that I didn't get like unlimited candy. And then when I was 20 years old, I was praying for this chick to like me.
Yeah.
I'm glad this chick didn't like me. And when I was 30-year-old, I was praying for this career to work out. And I'm glad. And the point of the exercise is that like God, a huge reason people aren't willing to follow God is because they don't agree with how he runs the world. They don't say that's why they're not willing to follow him, but their actions imply. So they'll be like, they'll be like, yeah, like Christ is cool. He was a wise teacher, but I couldn't follow him because I don't want to stop having sex. And you go,
yeah.
And the reason they think that is because they think their life is better with sex in it. Again, I have a whole podcast talking about why that's not true and whatnot. But the point I'm trying to make is that, or like in the Bible, they'll be so offended that like women are supposed to submit to men.
Yeah.
But just like you can look back on your prayers and be like, oh my gosh, that was such a stupid prayer. It's like, yes, we are getting smarter and we know those prayers are stupid and our prayers now are better. But it's like the same thing with running the world. It's like you look at God and you have issues with certain parts of the Bible and you think that if you were the God of the universe that you could run the world better. But it's like, bro, at no point when you look back in your life do you feel that way. So it's like, why are you assuming that? I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense.
No, it does.
It's kind of a deeper thought. But, and it's like, even me, bro, there's stuff that I still don't get. I still don't understand. It's still like I read in the Bible like, whoa, that's really intense. This guy was just killed for, God just struck this guy down because he did this. That doesn't really make sense. But I just asked God, like help me understand, help me make sense, because I know like it's always made sense. Like there's always been revelations in the past. So I'm like, I just know that I'm going to get to heaven one day and it's going to all make sense because it's just always, God's proved that time and time again to me. So I don't know.
Dude, that's so cool, man. That's awesome. Yeah. Dang, I don't even know what to say now.
We'll make a huge shift though, because we've been going on this for a while. Let's talk about becoming friends with Airrack. So,
yeah,
Airrack was the YouTuber he looked up to, and
yeah, I have some funny stories, bro. Crazy stories.
I need you to answer this question because I'm confused if you're a fan or a friend of Airrack. You seem like you're both, but
yeah. So I was thinking about this the other day. So I used to be a diehard, like I used to really, really, really love this guy named Airrack, right?
Yeah.
And it was just cause, like, it's the same kind of thing as like, I use Pinterest a lot. I love Pinterest.
You use Pinterest?
I know, dude. What? And some people are like, what?
I don't know what you do on Pinterest.
No, dude, for like, just so many different things, like, inspiration things, right? And so I'll be like with my friends, and then all their girlfriends are like, we're all on Pinterest, and they're like, what the heck? Why do you have that? That's like the most effeminate thing you
actually have. Can you just, now that we've gone it, can you just answer why? What do you use?
Oh, I use it for, dude, outfit inspiration.
I don't understand the app, so you gotta like,
dude. So it's basically like, it gives you like, I don't know how to explain it.
It's just
Instagram
pictures. With like. So Instagram not one picture, but it's like well,
Instagram is not like, Instagram is mainly like, it's a social media. Pinterest isn't really like a social media. It's just like a media. It's like if you need inspiration, or you need like I wonder what if this outfit would look good on this person, or this kind of shirt, or like I want to see other people rocking that kind of shirt. So if I'm gonna buy a blue shirt, I can be like, oh, okay, here's the kind of blue shirt I want, and I'll search like blue shirt outfits on men or whatever, and then it's just like a bunch of guys and stuff. So my whole thing is just like guys wearing all these outfits and stuff, and some people were like, bro, that's so weird, you're so like zesty.
Yeah.
Right? And then I mean eventually they all got into it, I'll be honest. Everyone,
Your friends are all interested?
they're like vintage, bro. It's kind of knowing you, bro. It's awesome. But basically in the same way, it's like some people will be like, dude, you got guys all over your page, you're like gay. But like, but I was like that's what they'll say. It's not that, it's like an inspiration kind of. Like I was really inspired. I love getting inspired.
Yeah.
I love being inspired and excited. So Eric really made me feel like inspired. Like I was like, dude, this guy is like doing stuff I've never seen before. This is exactly the kind of content I would love to make at some point. Maybe there's like, he has like the coolest friends I've ever seen. He's so passionate. It's like, dude, it just I think it reminded me of myself a lot. Like a really cool version of myself.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I want to be this. I don't know what it was, but I was like, bro, I need to do something. Because when I found Airrack, he was small. He was really small. So it was way before Creator Now. It was like,
I found him early-ish.
what was it? Oh no.
Was it when he was, I found him when he was, like, trying to work for Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might have been a little before that. But it was around the time when he like did the fake thing for Logan Paul and all that. Anyway, this is like years ago. This is like 4 years ago. I found him, and then he did this course called Creator Now. And I was like, well, I gotta rewind actually a little bit before that. I was like really obsessed with this idea, like, well, he's gonna blow up. I have this like keen eye for if people are gonna blow up or not, or like make it big. So like a lot of my friends that are huge now, I found them when they were like under 500 subs or under 1,000 subs. Yeah. And I just DM'd them, and now they're at like 1 million or over 5 million and all that. But basically, I was like, dude, I need to like really like get a close network connection to this guy before it's too late. He's gonna get too big and he won't see anything with me anymore. I was already a little late. Like he wouldn't see my DMs and stuff. Yeah. And so I forgot what I did. I think I just like, I made like a few videos about him, and I would like tag him on my stories and do certain things for him and all that. And he would see them, occasionally react, stuff like that. We weren't friends though. Far from friends. We were just like acquaintances. And then then he made Creator Now, and it was like $300 or something. And I'm like 13 years old. I think I was just about to turn 14. Something like that. This is now like 3.
Right, this is crazy.
Like 2.5 years ago.
Young you were.
And I was like, all right, okay, I got to, maybe just 3 years ago, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to join. I'm so young though, I don't have that money. So I asked my dad, I'm like, Dad, can I join Creator Now, this thing? My dad's like, what is that? And he's like, all of these guru courses are all the same thing. Yeah, like, I'm just letting you know, like, there's nothing in this. And I was like, oh, but here's all the benefits and this and this and this. To be honest with you guys, I said all these benefits, deep down, I did not care about the course. I just cared about like networking and connections. Yeah. So I was like, dude, Eric already knows who I am, kind of. I need to like really get in on this. So dude, if I didn't join, Creator Now changed my life. Yeah. It changed my life. I'm not like promoting it or anything. I'm just saying it really changed my life. So like it was crazy. My dad said no. He was set on no. And then we were at the skate park, and one of my neighbors was there and was like, yo, you should just let him try it. Like, he's gonna waste his money and then he'll never do it again, right? Yeah. And my dad was like, you sure? And then he's like, just send it. He's like, oh, I don't think I want to. And then eventually I ended up buying it, right? And I get in, and I made this video.
Did he buy it for you?
Yeah, he bought it for me. So I went and Creator Now. I'm so young. I'm like 13, 14.
Bro, you gotta be the youngest person in there.
Oh, dude, there was one more. I think I had a buddy though that joined. But I was like the youngest. Yeah, I was one of them. And I made a promotional video. Yeah. For Creator Now, and Eric put it on his story, and that was like crazy for me, bro. I was like, dude, that's so awesome. But at this point, he knows who I am. Like he has knowledge of who I am, kind of. Yeah. And I joined Creator Now, and I really wanted to get his attention, guys. So what I did was, it was bad.
Yeah.
No, don't do this. This is a horrible thing. This is really bad. Don't ever do this. I would spam the chat during like in Zooms and stuff, during his like Zoom meetings and stuff. I would spam the chat, and what my mind was so set on him that it was like I would ask him a question in the public chat. He's doing his meeting. He's doing stuff. And I would ask him a question in the public chat. And if he didn't answer it, I would copy the question and paste it again. Because I was like, oh, he didn't see it the first time. And I would do that over and over again. And then eventually I got to a point where I'm just Command V, Command V, Command V, enter. And I was just spamming the same question. And he's hilarious. Like, yo, Owen, you got it. He was like, he called me out in front of everyone in the call, right? I'm so young, dude. I'm like scared. I'm like, I love this guy. And he's like, he's the coolest guy. He's like, Owen. And I'm like, oh God. He goes, if you don't stop, I'm going to have to kick you out of Creator Now. And I'm like, and he was like, this will be your first warning. I know they're young or whatever, and this, so I'll give you a warning, but that's genuinely like around, like that's pretty, like, that's like not a respectful thing to do. Don't do that. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was so scared because it's like, yeah, I mean, it's Airrack. I was freaking out.
It was only like,
it was the craziest thing ever. I was so scared though. I was so scared. So I was like, I'm so sorry. Fast forward. He is announcing the winner of Creator Now. There's like you can get like a winner.
Yeah.
And my friend Tyler is about to win the whole, he's like announcing the winner. Oh dude, this is so bad.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened. Something happened in like whatever platform we were using. And I got like operator. I got like operator role somehow, or like co-operator or something like
what
that.
Does that mean?
I don't know, of like the meeting. So basically I could like kick people out,
got
stuff like that.
An operator room like on Zoom or something.
Yeah, like I got like the operator meeting or like role. So I was like,
that's crazy.
I don't know what happened. And
oh gosh.
with it, I got this new option I'd never seen. It was like draw. Then I was like, what? I can draw? So I started drawing in like a big fat like bright red marker all over Eric's face.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't know anyone else. I thought I was the only one that could see it. And on everyone's screen, there's like me drawing like devil horns on his head and stuff.
Oh, why do you put devil horns on his head?
I don't know if that's what I did. I'm just saying, like, you know, I could like modify something.
Yeah.
I definitely put a mustache, but I was like modifying his face and drawing, and I'm like laughing to myself. My mic's unmuted, and he's like,
start with drawing on Eric's face.
Okay, so I'm drawing all over his face.
Wait, start one more time.
Okay, so I'm drawing all over his face, right?
Yeah.
With this giant big red marker. And I'm so convinced I'm the only one that can see this thing.
Yeah.
And he goes, and he's like, who is drawing all over my face? And then like the producer and the manager in the call, and they're like looking around, like trying to find out who's like drawing, and they all see me, and I'm like, like speechless, dude. Little, I'm like a little kid me. I'm like 13, 14. Everyone's looking at me. He's like, Owen? Oh my gosh, bro. He's like,
if he was already mad.
Dude, like he was like, I would like I was like,
this is so.
Dude, it was not a good thing, bro. And everyone in the call all paid like $300 to be there.
So were you worried you were gonna get kicked out?
I thought it was over, bro. They're all looking at me like they're all mad at me because it's like everyone paid to be there. We're announcing the winner, and we're like, I'm just like, just drawing on his face. And so they're all like looking at me so mad. And then basically, I forgot what happened. It was the end of the thing though, but I DM'd him on like Geneva or whatever we were using, and I was like, yo, I'm so sorry, I didn't know.
Geneva was like a messenger app for the course they were using. Yeah.
And so he was like, I forgot what he said. He was like, oh, I still love you. Don't worry about it. This and that and this. And I was like, love me? I remember I was like, what the heck? I was like, dude, what? We're like best friends already. We were definitely like not.
Yeah.
Anyways. I kept making videos, going on, and then eventually he followed me on Instagram. That was like, I remember I was like, what the heck? That's so cool. And then we just kept talking on like Instagram, stuff like that. Time fly. It's been, now we're boys, but it was.
What do you mean? How did you become boys?
All right, we're still going. Okay, so basically, I don't like love talking about it like with like other, like I don't talk about that, like I don't brag
Yeah.
like with like any relationship and stuff. He's just a guy. He's
No, I'm just curious, like, how you took it. Like,
oh yeah.
like, how did you make it?
How did
from,
I
like, this relationship?
So now it's like because I'm like that disrespectful little 13-year-old kid. Like, oh, I still love you. Just don't do it again.
But from his perspective, though, he definitely understands your age, and he probably sees what we see in you, which is that you're very ambitious at a young age.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So this is really funny. So I was like trying to join season 2 of Creator Now, and I'm trying to join it, and he texts me or DMs me or whatever. He's like, yo, or we're on a call. I don't remember what it is, but he's telling me, he's like, yo, unfortunately for season 2, my lawyer got all mad, and my lawyer is just getting like potato. It's not you. It's just you have to be like 16 to join Creator Now.
Yeah.
And at the time I'm like 16. Usually it's like, don't you have to be like 18 and things? Like 16 is a weird number.
Yeah.
I was like, anyways, okay. I didn't know until like just the other day. I was at like the Creator Now like meetup house, and I was talking with some of like the team members and stuff, and they were telling me that was just for season 2, and that none of that was true. It was just because of me. So there you know that. So no, they put an age gap. They put an age limit on it just because of me.
Oh, because you were like drawing.
Because of me. That's super funny though. I love them. We're fine now. But basically.
But like,
what even happened?
How did you actually become friends with him? Because you like hung out with him before, right?
Dude, yeah.
But like, so yeah, how, like, I'm just, up until this point in the story, it doesn't make sense that you guys would actually hang out.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. From there, I think what was the next thing? Oh. This is where things happened. So at this point, like, a little bit of time goes on, and it's like, at the point, it's like, I think he likes me, whatever. We're not like really close friends or whatever. I think he still likes me and all that. I'm moving on and really caring more about my own content now, though. Yeah. I'm not honed in on it. Like, I'm not I still love him. Like, he was so cool in my opinion, but we had this idea. Me and my friend Michael had this idea. Yeah. And we basically gathered up the Creator Now OGs, season 1 guys, and just the group of season 1 creators. We all meet up in LA. I'm 13. This is crazy. This is the first time I ever like went out and did stuff. Or 14 now. Definitely 14.
And going to LA as a 14-year-old.
I know. In LA as a 14-year-old, my parents dropped me off. My mom, this is actually so funny. I was just talking about it the other day. My mom didn't want to. Like, she just didn't want. I mean, I get that. As a parent, I would never want to drop my kids off with like random strangers he's never met in real life.
2 hours in LA.
I know. My mom got there and she's like, wait, I don't know these. I've never met these guys, this and this and this. I don't know if you should do it. My dad's like, dude, do it. So he's so cool. My dad's like, so cool. He's very like, he loves adventuring and like going out and exploring, or else you'll never truly know yourself. Yeah. So he was like, dude, do it. That sounds like a super fun adventure.
They drove you 2 hours? We live 2 hours away from LA.
We live like 2 hours away.
Yeah, we happen to live in the same city, which is interesting. But
so they drive me there and all that, and we meet up with these guys, and we basically surprise Airrack mid-shoot at the beach. We like run out of nowhere, and we just like surprise him. It's in an old video. It's in one of his videos. We like run out and surprise him mid-shoot, and he's like, what the heck? He really didn't know we were coming. It was super funny.
All the season 1 people.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw that video. It was like,
I feel like I've seen.
It was like 100 dares. We all like surprised him.
I feel like I've seen that.
Anyways, he was like freaking out and all that, and he was like, we were hanging out, and then out of everybody in the crowd, he was like, I was like, oh my gosh, like I've never met this guy in real life. Yeah. He's so tall, bro. I was like,
yeah, he is.
I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, this is like the guy. This is my boy. Like, I'm best friends with him. He didn't know that yet, but I knew that. Yeah. And so everyone around him's like, everyone's filming, and there's like a lot of us. He's looking at me, he's like, what the heck? And he stops on me and he goes, Owen, in front of everyone. And I was like, no way. And I just run out of the crowd and give him a big fat hug. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And then he invited us to go back to his house and film the rest of the video with him. And I was like, what the? And I was like, Mom, I'm going to Airrack's house. And she was like, what? Okay, Pat, go. So
she knew you were a fan of him?
Yeah, dude. She knew. I mean, it's so obvious. I love him. And so I go to his house, and so we helped him film that thing or whatever and all that. It was super cool. And then the next day, there was like a hangout, and I was invited to go to it, so I drove back to LA, and he was also invited to it. So we both went to LA, and we both met up. We just hung out. This is like just a normal hangout.
Yeah.
And I'm just hanging out with him. And then at that event, he gave me his number, or at that like hangout, he gave me his number.
Yeah.
And then we just kept texting and hung out and yeah.
Okay, so now you guys are like,
So now we're like boys. But it took a few. I mean,
it's a
I still don't. Recently, like it went from like mega super fan, crazy fan, and then faded into just like, that's my boy or whatever. He's like, I mean, he's still like, he's just a.
You're a fan of his work, but you're like, you're a friend.
Yeah, he's more of a friend. He became more of a friend to me than at all. Like I didn't think of him like that anymore. And now lately I'm realizing like, bro, I still love this stuff. I'm still inspired by it.
Yeah, it's good to be a fan of your friends.
Yeah, so I'm a fan of him still, but
Bro, well,
that's how we became friends, I guess. Really weird.
There's two things that I think are worth talking about here, which is, first of all, so, I mean, I've been lucky enough to meet a good amount of famous people, just be in rooms with them. I've met Airrack at least once.
Yeah? Where was that? Bro, I hate spiders. There's a spider here.
There's a spider here?
I hate spiders, bro.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. Okay. I killed it. I think, probably, hopefully.
I can't, it was...
Was it at VidSummit?
I want to say it was at VidSummit, but it wasn't like in the lobby room. I met him outside. He like used his texting notification to say like, oh, if you're in the location, come meet me. And then I went to a location to come meet him and no one else was there. It was just like me, Zach, and Eric. And then some people found him. But when the other people found him, they were younger kids. And I was like the older one.
Yeah.
And I had like a real conversation with him. And all the other kids were like, let me get a photo, let me get a photo, let me get a photo.
Yeah.
Which, okay, so there's two things I want to talk about here, which is, I mean, you've probably heard this. You have a really unique experience where you were able to go from being a fan to a friend, but that's
not
common. If you introduce yourself as a fan, you will almost always stay as a fan.
Always.
So
yeah.
that is just like for the audience. I've definitely made that mistake before where like, and it's not that there's any issue. You want to be honest. So like, let's say I like someone like Airrack, for example, and I meet Airrack. I want to be like, the worst thing to do is to fanboy. To be like, oh my gosh, I love you so much. Like, can we take a photo? Can we do this?
Yeah.
But the second worst thing is to act like you don't know who they are. Where you're like, oh, yo, Airrack, oh, what do you do? Oh, you do YouTube? Because it's just fake. They know it. So you just got to be genuine. Not like, I really like your stuff. I'm a YouTuber too. And that goes back to that imposter syndrome of like feeling like, if you don't feel like you're a YouTuber, you're not going to feel confident to introduce yourself that way.
Yeah.
But the part of the story that I find really interesting is at the very end, you threw it in so fast, but you said, then I got his number and I texted him and we hung out and stuff. I feel like because you were young, you were like, oh, I have his number, I'm going to text him. Whereas like a lot of people will get a famous person's number and they'll feel too scared to text him. They'll feel like they'll ruin the relationship.
Yeah.
But I get in my head about it, but I try to always contact them because when you have someone's number and you don't contact them, what you're doing is you're kind of like, you're again putting yourself into the fan category because what you're saying is like, I don't think I'm worthy of your time.
Yeah.
Because, and I get why, like, it's not like, if I got Airrack's phone number, I wouldn't just be hitting him up daily, like, I'd be an idiot. He'd be like, who is this kid? But, like, I think that's, like, something good you did is, like, you do want to, like, if you get someone's number.
You know what I said to him?
Yeah.
This is how I got his number, because we were at the hangout, and there were other people there, and they actually asked for his number, and he said no.
Yeah.
He said, I don't just give out my number to most people. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't either at that point. No way. I went up to him, and I was like, Eric. I forgot what I said, but I was like, because I went right after everyone else asked him. I don't know why I was so impatient.
Yeah.
Maybe he was leaving. But what I said was, I was like, when I make it in the future, I was like, I was like, whenever I need your help with my videos, or it would make it easier if when I need you, or if I need your help with videos in the future, or when you need my help for videos in the future, because I'm gonna be so big or whatever. I forgot what I said, but I was like, when I make it, you'll need my help for videos and stuff. And when you want to collab with me and all that, it'd make it easier if we or something like that. And I was like, and for tips and stuff like that, if we ever need to talk, you know. And then he was like, and then. Yeah, obviously it was not. He was like, whatever.
But he probably saw your ambitious nature.
Yeah, so he was like, sure, and then all that. But yeah, you don't want to like, I mean,
but I think it's just funny. But I feel like you were yourself. You're just being yourself.
I was being myself. Yeah.
Like even when you were saying that, you probably like were saying it partially because you believe it's true, but you're probably saying partially because it's funny and it's like a joke.
Yeah, it's good because if you just go up and you're like, oh, give me your phone number, it's like,
why?
Why do
and
you
even like
give you my phone?
I mean,
not even in ego way, not in an ego way, but just like, what's the point of giving you my phone number from?
You can't just when you're Airrack, bro, because if you give it to the wrong person, they'll leak it.
It's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah, you can get. But yeah, I mean that is really interesting.
It's strange, bro. It's really weird. It's the Lord, though, bro. I would not have been in those positions to do those things if the Lord didn't provide me with like such amazing connections and relationships and stuff, man.
Speaking of the Lord, are you, I know you have like photos with Ryan Trahan. Are you similar friendship with him or more of a fan?
No. I think Eric thinks I'm actually similar friendship. I think Eric, because the other day this is actually like a while ago. One time I was hanging out with Eric and we were at his like office and he was like, I forgot what he said. He was like, bro, you have some of the craziest like connections. He was like, bro, you can just like ask me for like advice and like not in an ego way, guys. Eric is a great guy. He's not egotistical.
I met him once and
he's very nice.
He was so like no ego. Like I will give him credit.
Yeah, no ego. It was like undeniably factual. Eric's doing great. He was doing like he was already.
He is. I mean, I would say he's top 10 YouTubers in the world right now.
Yeah, like he's so great. And so it was like to just have that kind of connection, like in a business standpoint, that's so awesome. Like such a blessing. And the way he said, he goes, you're like friends with me and Ryan, and it's like, and I, like the way he said it was like, I'm like really good friends with Ryan, and I was like, not yet. I would love to become friends with Ryan, though not in the same way, but he seems like a really great guy to like.
He's a
strong
Christian.
Yeah, because like even like, dude, it's just so cool.
My friends go to. Some of my creator camp friends go to church with him in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
And he'll invite them to like come watch the Texans game at his house and stuff.
Oh, do you know Jake? Is that Jake Harley? Maybe.
I don't know Jake, but okay. I wouldn't be surprised if he can also. Also, like Anne Marie, that girl that I told you about that I was.
Yeah.
Like sharing the gospel with her. Well, when she was in Texas, she lived in Austin for a couple of months and she was going to church with them. And Ryan Trahan's girlfriend, Haley and Ryan, they like I mean, think about how like famous Ryan is. And when she left, they like threw her like a going away party and like talked to her about the Bible and stuff.
Nice.
And this is all behind the scenes. Like I only know this stuff because I have friends that know them. Like I would have no reason to know this.
Yeah.
He's not like advertising it, which is really interesting.
That's so funny, dude. Yeah, Ryan's a really cool guy. So my history with Ryan's really weird, actually. It's not the same as like.
How many times have you met him?
I've met Ryan. I don't know, probably twice.
You don't have any joy rides on you, do you?
I don't, bro. I ran out of joy. I ate it all, bro. It was so good.
They're good?
So good, bro.
They're really good?
Bro, Jimmy's, Mr. Beast bar is like.
Have you had the new one?
No. It looks good. But the last one was like, I said it was good in the video. It's not bad.
No, it's not bad. I mean,
but it's not like I'm not going out of my way to buy it. You know what I mean? Joyride, I will go out of my way to buy it.
It's good.
It's good.
It's
really good. And like the amount of sugar and stuff, and then like no like fake dyes, that was crazy too. And then like they didn't replace the sugar with like whatever the other one is. That's horrible.
You like Prime? Prime is so bad for you.
I didn't know that,
dude. It has zero sugar and it tastes like friggin' milk.
Aspartame. It doesn't have aspartame.
Yeah.
I don't think it does. If it has aspartame, then I'm maybe blind, but I didn't see it in the thing.
I feel like a lot. I mean, I'm making a complete assumption here, but I feel like Ryan Trahan as a Christian, like, actually cares about like that stuff.
Yeah.
It was clear Mr. Beast. Part of the selling point of Mr. Beast's original chocolate was that Hershey's had so much garbage in it, and he was like simplifying it to 4 ingredients.
Yeah.
But I've heard from some people now that the new one's way better tasting, but I heard that it's not.
Yeah,
I think it's probably still healthier than Hershey's, but I don't know about like.
Yeah, it's not the same though. Ryan, how did I meet Ryan the first time, bro? Oh,
wait, what are your thoughts on Prime though? Before you say
Prime?
Yeah.
So I used to hate it, and then I drank it so many times for like videos with my friends before I like niched in more, and I actually unironically went out of my way to buy it a few times.
Bro,
you're really good.
You're literally like when they say Prime.
Well, I don't anymore. I don't do that, guys.
When they say Prime is like bad for kids and they target, they're literally talking about you.
No,
because bro, I mean, the thing with Prime is that people see no sugar, and it tastes so sweet, and they're like, no sugar, it's healthy, and they gas up the electrolytes as if it's a Gatorade. Bro, the electrolytes in Prime don't do anything for replenishing your hydration. I watched a scientist break it down. It's like there's like certain electrolytes that replenish you.
They don't do anything?
They don't do anything. It's not a sports drink. And
what? How are they getting sponsored by everyone? Or how are they sponsored?
Because they have millions of dollars, bro. They're paying. They're getting bags, but that's why. And like I actually met Logan Paul once, and he was nice.
Yeah.
I have mixed opinions about. I really don't like that he made fun of George with his faith. So that kind of turned me against him a little bit. Like,
I actually really like him. Right now I do. Because I'm pretty sure I think didn't he say he gave, or did he give his life to Jesus? I know.
No, absolutely not.
What did he say?
He did say after Dylan Dennis was clowning his wife that whole fight, he said that I had forgiveness, and he looked at Jesus. And so that was an admirable thing, but it wasn't like any revelation toward Christianity. It was just like, I like that one trait of Jesus, and I applied it in this situation. You could tell. I looked into it because I find that stuff really interesting.
Yeah. Dude, because I love the guy's so cool, but
you know who I like?
Who?
Jake Paul. I like Jake Paul way better than Logan.
Really? I'm the opposite, bro.
Bro, I think Jake Paul is real.
I don't like Jake Paul, bro.
Bro,
I love
Logan Paul. That's good. I'm sorry. You're the people who get like scammed.
You're the kid that.
You're the literal target audience of Logan Paul fans that don't realize what's happening. Which is like, bro. I mean,
relate on me.
I don't know. Like, I'm not. Again, Matthew 7:2 says, "For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged with the measure you use. It would be measured to you." So I try not to like judge people, and I'm not saying I hate Logan Paul, but I think he's done. And I've done evil. We've all sinned, but I think he's done some things that are borderline evil, which, like the way he's advertising Prime Hydration, with the artificial sweeteners in, and the fact that he's posing it as a sports drink when it's not, I think is not cool.
Yeah. I don't go out of my way to drink Prime. It was twice, and it was with friends. But
I'm drinking Prime, and I just think he's funny because like, he also had the whole CryptoZoo thing where he scammed people. Who like bought his NFT.
Oh, yeah.
But then the thing is, I feel like he's like...
I just think he looks cool, man. I like his hair.
He looks cool when he does WWE too.
That's it. I think he looks way cooler than Jake Paul. I don't think Jake Paul is cool.
But here's the thing with Jake Paul. Everyone I know who like... I'd be willing to bet when you're older you'll be more of a Jake Paul fan. Because Jake Paul's the villain of the internet. Like, people have turned against Jake Paul because he says stuff, but he's way more real, and I feel like Logan Paul's always trying to dunk on him and steal his spot. Like when Jake Paul agreed to fight Mike Tyson, Logan Paul was like, "I got offered that fight first," which is not true. Jake showed the evidence that he didn't. It's just, I don't know. Jake just like has a weird ego to me, and I'm Logan. Again, I've never met him, so I don't want to say like this stuff for a fact. Actually not true. I did meet him once, and he was cool to. it was not enough of an interaction to like say, but I just feel like Jake's real. But now I'm getting in my head about this. I'm like, why am I even? This is such a dumb thing to talk about.
That's stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't love either. I don't really love either of them at all. But
I like Jake Paul a lot. I mean, I don't like. I used to like idolize people, kind of like you said you used to be with. Now I just like people. I don't idolize anyone.
yeah.
I'm trying to think of who I'm like a really big fan of right at this moment. Because I'm a really, really big fan of George Jenko right now.
Yeah.
I love because I love like him, the way he talks about Christ, and he's really like the only person I'm like a huge fan of. But even him, like the way I see him is like I really like his content, but I totally think that I'm just gonna be friends with him. Like I just like feels like that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, you were gonna I was tangent. Say your stuff about Ryan Trahan, and then I'll ask you my outro.
Okay. Ryan Trahan, what was happening with him?
Like how you met him.
I don't even know how I met him the first time, but I know. Oh,
that was so loud.
Oh shoot. Shoot. All right. Around the same time thing going on with Airrack. Maybe a little later. I had a video idea. No one else had done this at the time. Ryan Trahan was doing his original Penny series. Not all the new ones, not the popular ones.
Not
he was still popular.
America one?
No. It was a different one. He was doing his original Penny series. This was in 2020 actually.
Yeah.
2021. And I wanted to make him the world's largest penny. No one else had come up with the idea. Nobody. I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
And I talked to all these people, Tyler Blanchard, everyone. They were like, dude, that's genius, viral video idea, do it. And I was going to do it. And I'm trying to make sure this mic isn't like...
Yeah, it's been face down, but I think it's been okay.
All right. And basically, I had that video idea, and I was going to do it, but I had to choose between doing that now or this other option, or like this documentary with my family that I ended up doing instead. But with this Ryan Trahan thing, I basically DM'd him on Instagram. No one, like he was big enough to the point where you're not going to get a DM back.
Yeah.
And Tyler Blanchard, like all these people, at the time they weren't like friends or anything. Like nobody was getting responses from him.
Yeah.
And I DM'd him, I forgot what I said. Like I had people help me and we curated like the perfect DM. And he responded fast to my DM. And then he, maybe it was because we had mutuals, like because Eric followed me.
Yeah.
But he responded fast, and we talked and all that, and dude, this is crazy, bro. We're talking about the penny. He wants it, right? We're gonna do it. And then he gave me I gave him my number, and he texted me.
Yeah.
And my number. And so I have his number.
Yeah.
But I gave him his number. I gave him my number.
Well, let's bang that line. Let's call on the pod
right now. No, it's not. He doesn't respond to me. But
how do you text for him?
Since then, yeah, he hasn't responded. He doesn't respond anymore. But at the time we were gonna do it, we had plans. Everything was going down. It was gonna be crazy. And then, Tyler Blanchard ended up doing the idea. I said it was fine and all that, but
You gave him the permission to do it?
yeah, and he did the idea, and
I saw him do it.
it went good.
Yeah.
He did it because I couldn't do it anymore. Because I ended up doing a documentary thing, and I didn't have the time for both. So it was over for me. That was over. But that's how I got his number. Second time I ever met him at Vid Summit 2 years ago, same place I met you.
Yeah.
I met
I
Auzi
remember,
at Vid Summit
I
2
think
years
when I met you guys, I think that was like, everyone was saying, oh, we just met Ryan Trahan. And I was like, I want to meet him, but then he was gone.
So I didn't meet him where everyone else met him. I actually, because I think what happened was this before his speech. He had a speech. What's it called? He went in an elevator. He was going up. He was like sneaking around because the people had to like, speakers had to like sneak around so they don't get like mobbed. But he was like sneaking around, and my mom saw him. I was with my mom. My mom was like, and he went in the elevator, and there was like one or two other
Your
people.
mom?
Yeah, my mom was there.
Bro, this is...
Because I was too young.
Bro, this is so funny. Your stories are legendary, bro.
I was too young. And so he was going in the elevator. My mom's like, oh my gosh, is that Ryan? And I was like, oh yeah. And then she was like, you know what you should do? And I was like, when she goes, you should run in there and go in the elevator with him. And I was like, why? And she was like, just go in there and just get off at a random floor.
Yeah.
Just to become more acquainted. She's really good with like networking stuff.
That's smart.
Yeah,
I would
she
know
helped.
that.
Yeah, all that stuff. She's like, just run in the elevator. And I was like, okay. you sure? And she was like, go now, it's closing. So I ran in and I interrupt the thing and I go in, they're like, oh, hey, and all that. And it's like him and then like one other person or a couple or something. And they're talking, Ryan and them or whatever, and they get off right away. And now it's just me and Ryan, and this hotel place is huge. And we just started, he's at the top floor. We're at the very bottom, so we just started going up. And it's just so funny. The whole elevator is a mirror, right? It's a big mirror.
Yeah.
And we're just standing there. It's like this. Like, I was standing there right there, and Ryan was, and we're just standing facing the door, and it's a mirror. We're just like this.
Yeah.
No talking for like 30 seconds. It's taking so long to get, it just didn't move. Like, I remember just like,
Yeah.
and then he looks at me and he was like, nice ring you got there. And I was like wearing a ring and it looked like the one that he was wearing. And I was like, oh, yeah, it looks like yours. And he was like, you know, I was like laughing. He was like,
Yeah, dude, I can picture it. He was like, sounds like something he'd put in his videos to be like awkward.
he was like, dude, he was like, kind of looks like mine, huh? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, and we just stayed there, and we stayed next to each other, and it was like a mirror. We're like, and I didn't say anything, and I was like, I thought it was so funny. I was awkward, and I was like, so, what's your name? And I looked at him, and I was like, oh, I think I've seen your videos before. And he was like, yeah, probably, maybe. And he was like, probably, I don't know. And then he was like, yeah, what's your name? And I was like, and he was like, oh, and I was like, I don't know, but he was like, Owen, and I was like, yeah. And he was like, that's pretty cool. And we were like, yeah.
Did he know who you were?
No, we had name tags on.
Yeah.
They were just looking there, we're like,
So he didn't know you were the kid that DM'd him.
no, he didn't know anything about that. He didn't know it was me. And so we're going,
Why didn't you just say that? Like, bro, I DM'd you.
I don't know, I didn't.
You should really.
Wait, did I?
Was this?
Wait.
Was this after Penny series?
This is after Penny series, second version.
Like the one where Tyler.
This is the one where this is the famous one that everyone knows about.
And so he'd already gotten the giant.
He already got a giant.
Bro, you had such an opportunity to be like, bro, you know when you got that giant penny, that was my idea. And then you could have showed him your freaking DMs. Then he would have been like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah, you blew that. I'm just kidding.
No, what did I say? I might have mentioned that. I can't lie. I don't remember.
How would you not remember that?
I don't remember because it was like, because the conversation was so awkward. It was amazing. It was actually really normal. I felt totally, it was not like awkward, but it was awkward, if you know what I mean. So I was like, if I said it, it was like, I was the guy who was going to make you a penny or whatever. And then he was like, oh, that's so cool.
That was it?
Yeah. If that happened, that's what happened. Because I kind of have a faint memory of it, but I don't know. Anyways, after that, my mom was wondering where I was, and I was sitting with Ryan and Eric. I was like right with them at the front thing. Because I'm friends with Eric, and I was like, hey guys, let me get a picture for my mom. Smile. This is just because she's wondering where I am. She needs an update, so say hi. And then Eric is like, oh, hey, because Eric knows my mom. So he was like, hey.
Yeah.
And then Ryan just smiled too, because, I mean, I posted like, I'm best friends with Ryan too.
It's funny.
So Ryan, that was the last time I saw Ryan. And then, I haven't seen him since then. I saw him in the hotel last year. I think I said hi, but that was it. I don't think I talked to them.
Bro, we'll be with him soon. I'm going to do a podcast with him soon.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any like
no, you are.
progress. I just feel like
you will. That would be so awesome.
I feel like it would be a good podcast for him to come on because I understand the world of YouTube, but we could talk about faith. I feel like he wants to talk about faith.
No, 100%.
I could be wrong.
I think so too.
All right, bro. Ask you this outro question.
I don't know if I'm standing zesty.
When you die, what do you want people to say about you?
That's such a good question. When I die, what do I want people to say about me? Like, how do I want people to remember me? Or talk about me?
People take it in different ways, but I think when I pose the question, like, what will people actually say about you? Owen was this. Owen did this. He was this kind of person.
When I die, I want people to say, obviously, you could just say, like, he represented, like, obvious, like, those are some obvious answers, like, oh, I want people to tell people I represented Jesus well, and he was passionate about his stuff. And I think that's good, but I feel inclined to say something else, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
When I die, I want people to
It's okay not to have a
say it's
perfect
just like,
answer.
maybe just say, I want to leave something behind. So if they're not talking about like my legacy, I'd prefer people talk about like, he was a nice guy.
I thought you were gonna say if they're not talking about my legacy, they're gonna talk about something I built or something.
No, I feel like actually, to be honest, I think I'd rather people just say like, it would have been like, you would have loved to meet him. He was a nice guy. I don't have any other words.
Well, actually,
like, if you would have loved to meet him, he was a nice, like, I can't think of like,
no, I mean,
you had to have met him to like understand like.
well, it's funny that you're saying this because that's what people told me. Like I was on the phone with Armani. He's like, you got to talk to Owen. And then I talked to Jane and he's like, you got to talk to Owen. So people are already saying that about you.
Dude, I want it. That's so nice. Thank you guys. Jaden, Armand, if you're watching this, I love you guys so much.
But I think I would tell people they need to talk to you, to be honest. I mean, hopefully we'll be good
Dude,
friends because we're in the same
yeah.
city. All right, bro.
Heck yeah.
Got to do some Polaroids and stuff.
Auzi,
Ah,
it's good to meet you. Finally. Hey guys.
any last words?
Oh, I shouldn't have. That was so cringy, bro. That was so weird.
Actually, it turned 5 minutes.